Farm for Profit Podcast. Take a listen, have a blast. Farm for Profit Podcast. Learn about farming while having a laugh. Farm for Profit Podcast.
And listeners, welcome back to the Farm for Profit Podcast. Let's jump right into our guest.
Oh, you want to do it that time?
Oh, man.
I see what you did there.
I see what you did there.
Normally, he does goes on for 5 minutes rambling about and, subscribe.
Everybody's hitting fast forward right now
Yeah.
on the podcast.
Yeah, yep. All right, let's do it. Just go right into it.
I'm here. I'm good.
All right. So this is a long one, and I wrote this on the way down in your truck too. Also cannot read my writing very well, so let's see how we do. Today on the Farm for Fun show, we are still here at NACADE, and we meet up with a gal that I have been following on the socials for a while now. She has one of the best eyes for marketing, graphic design, and content that I have ever seen, which is perfect because she runs a marketing company focusing on ag, where she isn't just about selling a product or idea. It's about weaving the story of your brand into the very fabric of the market, ensuring that it stands out, resonates, and ultimately thrives. That's a quote.
That's the quote.
That's a quote. Please welcome from Northern Ohio, Mrs. Lo Schmid of Lo Schmid Marketing.
Do I clap too for me?
Yes, absolutely.
Yay.
We have a huge audience here, so yes.
What's up, guys?
How are you?
Oh, we're kicking along. It's the busy time of year, and we've been traveling a lot. We were in Denver last weekend for 5 days. Missed a flight coming home, which prolonged the trip, and got a little short bit at home, and now we're here.
Nice. And you drove over today. How long of a drive was it for you?
About 4 hours.
4 hours.
Wow.
Yeah,
you're
so
a
we took
dick,
off early
Corey.
this morning.
I didn't
can't
know
believe
it was
you made
that
her do that.
far.
No, I'm here for it because I'd rather do this in person than on the computer. I just am not.
So
I
we
mean,
kind of met in the middle because it was
Yeah.
7.5 for us.
Right.
On the other way.
Right, so I can't complain about my 4 to your 7.
Well, I hope you
You
can get
can.
some
You can.
get some value other than being on our show here. I mean, you're in ag. Do you farm other than?
Yeah.
Okay.
My husband's family and I, we farm about 1,200 acres. They, Kobe is actively involved doing this full time. He, when we had my daughter, decided that it was time for him to come back to the farm full time and kind of handle things at the home front. Help me with Brees, our daughter, who is now just over 18 months, and we've been doing that ever since. But we also run some cows and show pigs also.
Okay, perfect. So, is there drainage on your farm? Or do you,
So, fun
you know?
fact, Kobe actually worked for Soil and Water prior to coming home to farm full time. So
you
this
can
is
walk
all
around-
very,
You can walk around at the end and get a little value. Okay, I don't
Yeah.
feel so bad.
No, he actually wanted to come because this is all very
perfect.
interesting to him. So,
Win-win.
yeah, this was voluntary on his behalf to
Well,
drive here and
That's
see
perfect,
the sites also.
Because the way that I pitched it to the registration this morning, I was like, hey, these guys don't need to pay because they're just coming to be a guest on the podcast. We've wanted them on for a while, so just print them off.
me, I
back.
guess,
So,
but
yeah.
he's like ready to go and see the sites and do the things. So
Great.
Well,
Well,
he should go and see it now and just watch the episode when it
right,
comes out later.
he will too.
the bar is open. It opens at 10 a.m.
Oh,
They made it a
wow.
point to tell us that.
That's
So,
amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
and it
10
was closed
a.m.?
at 5 because I went up there afterwards and it was closed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
They know the tricks. Get
Want to
people
get
to
you started
stay,
early.
drink, look around.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. So anyway, I think I started following you on Snapchat.
Yeah,
or
your
something.
intro almost started out like creepy stalkerish.
I've been following you for years.
You're like, he's been following you for years. She's got eyes that are, and I was like, oh, that could have gone 2 other different directions.
Where have you guys been?
We just got back from the Custom Harvesters event where operators from across the country couldn't stop talking about Steinbauer performance modules.
Yeah, they're seeing up to 25% more power, better fuel efficiency, all with smarter injector duration and not altering the rail pressure for safe and reliable performance.
If you're looking to maximize your machine's potential, go to steinbauer.us and tell them Farm for Profit sent you to get yours today.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know if I followed you or you followed me. I put a lot of snaps on my public story, and I realized that you can gain a lot of followers that way on Snapchat.
Yes.
And it's kind of crazy, and I was mesmerized by the content of cattle and pigs and horses and all that stuff. I'm like, who is this?
Yeah.
Like, this is amazing work. Like, I've never seen her on TikTok or anywhere else, so I had to ask.
It all kind of came about when I guess to kind of provide a little bit of background, I was really actively involved in FFA in high school. I was our chapter president, and we competed nationally in the farm business management exam, and we were 7th in the nation, and it was so cool. And just so involved in the industry growing up. We ran cows, my dad and I, and he still does. He's getting ready to retire, still has a couple cows, but most of them are at our place now. And following high school, there's all these different options to go into the industry, and I wasn't landing on a school that really provided the caliber of business that I was looking for. There's tons of ag business schools out west, but I wasn't ready to commit to moving that far away from home to do that. So ended up taking a day off, totally unplanned, with a friend to go see Bowling Green State University. That's in Bowling Green, Ohio, which is kind of close to where we are now, about 45 minutes. And totally just thought I was going to get the day off school, was not intending to go there. And about 45 minutes into their little spiel, I decided that was where I was going to go to business school. So they have no ag program, and that was kind of a bummer for me, because you take some time away from the industry in that way, since I wasn't going to be home. But we toughed it out for 4 years. Well, it was like 4.5, because I wanted to work and do internships and things while I was there. So didn't quite get it done in 4, but then I had to go into the corporate world, assuming that was what my career was going to be. Hated it, per usual, same song and dance as everybody else. Ended up actually getting fired from my job because it was just like a dog-eat-dog world. Boss threw me right under the bus at the ripe age of like 19, and I was like, I can't ever do this again. So one of my friends asked me to help get her business going on the marketing end, and it all took off from there. So now we're here. 7 years later.
She asked you to help get their business off, and you're like,
Yep.
oh, I could figure this
Right.
out.
Mm-hmm.
So where did you start with that?
Well, she owns a salon, still does to this day. One of my best friends now. At the time, she was just an acquaintance that I met when Kobe and I got together, and basically had very little marketing happening. She had just bought a place, moving from working under someone to a place of her own. Just really took what I had learned at school and made it work, and really started studying data trends. Excuse me. I'm a numbers girl, and that's all.
Excited.
Yeah, that's all marketing is
smiled.
analyzing data and manipulating it based on the content that you're putting out and how your audience reacts to it. So obviously that's evolved quite a bit in the last 7 years, and it's a lot different now than what it was. But I feel like I have more of a hold on it now as somebody who's done it for this long than I did at such a young age. But I'm really thankful for the opportunity that kind of pushed me to do it then, because I'm not sure that I ever would have otherwise.
Yeah, Dave owns a salon.
Yeah, sure do. Never thought I'd say that, but
Yeah?
well, I rent out chairs, so
Okay.
I just rent out the chairs. I'm the real estate owner,
Right.
but then
Yep.
they run their own businesses.
Right.
And it took a while for them to realize that, oh, I'm my own business owner. They're like, well, what are you going to charge me for this? I'm like, look, I just pay the bills on this.
Right.
You guys do whatever you want.
Yep.
But they're still having me like build signs and stuff for them. Like, can you put a sign in the front yard? No, it's your own business. Do whatever you want. Like,
You
yeah.
can't
Yeah.
put signs in your yard anyway.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, you can if you get a
Dave,
permit.
yeah.
If you get a permit.
Right.
Whole
Dave can
different story.
put signs wherever Dave wants
Wherever
to put signs.
you want. So you're in the livestock world, and my wife and I are in the livestock world, and she does show cattle all over. And I've noticed that we had talked about doing this because our company's called Whitaker Marketing Group, and there is not a whole lot of marketing on the livestock end, or there wasn't years ago. Let's back up 5-10 years. And we had a lot of people just very basic, didn't have websites, didn't have Facebook pages, didn't have anything, and then it moved forward. However, fast forward to today, some of the best print marketing that we see is some of these show cattle magazines. I'm talking UV gloss print and raised letters and soft touch booklets. And this costs a lot of money.
Right.
But they're paying people to do this. So I think there's a world of opportunity in marketing, especially livestock guys, not to stereotype that they don't know digital, but it feels like they don't.
Yeah.
You can't take a pee at the state fair without just having 8 flyers in your
Correct.
face
Right.
for this cow and all
That's what I'm
these
saying.
fluffy cows.
Everybody now,
Yeah.
yeah, especially.
Yeah,
And then,
this
now sheep have woolly hooves. Or have you seen that? They look like they have boots.
Yeah.
on.
Woolly hooves.
Like, when did that become a trend?
Yeah. I don't know. The sheep thing's not my deal. I've ran cows my whole life. The show pig thing is his family's, and I just am along for the ride on that ordeal. But cattle is where my heart is, and so most of my clients are cattle related in some facet, whether they have other businesses or are focused on cattle. But also, like a lot of people in like the grain like, hey, operation, usually they have some sort of family something that I'm working with, and then it kind of just bleeds into the other like entities, whether it's livestock or other things.
So when you're working with them, are you doing a full-fledged marketing plan, or are you logo design and flyer design? What's the business look like?
I think that my business is really unique in terms of my philosophy. I run everything like a corporate business. So we're starting from the top, determining your budget, creating a marketing plan, and then a content plan, how it's going to be executed from there. So everybody gets a marketing plan, which is a lot for some people, but ultimately it's really easy to show them the data when it's all said and done and say, this is why we did that, and then they're kind of changed from there.
Sounds really familiar.
It does sound really familiar. So as you look at that, is it just you, or do you have people that work with you, for you?
Yeah, so Kobe's sister, she just graduated high school. She worked for me for a year and a half. We love her. She was a real trooper as a teenager, just helping me do everything. I called her like my other brain. And then she, graduated, going to school now, so she kind of had to take a back seat there. I just hired another girl the other day. It's been really hard for me to find time to answer applications and schedule interviews, so that's kind of been a slow going process, but hopefully in the new year we're ready to take off in another direction. But usually it is my preference to have 2 or 3 people working for me at once. It just kind of didn't work out with everybody in schedules at once, and so I've kind of been hanging on by a thread through fall sales into like Texas majors are coming up. And
who's your customer then?
So I say that I specialize in agriculture, but I serve everyone. So it's my preference to work with ag-related businesses, but that doesn't mean I can't design a marketing plan for anybody else. I understand a lot of industries. I'm a female, so I shouldn't even say that. I guess there's people across all genders that love the salon industry now. But I love to have my hair done.
If you're show cattle, you you like hair.
I mean, hey,
maybe,
exactly.
Maybe not
right.
show pigs; they don't like hair. But I tell you what, the show cattle people.
Yeah. So I mean, like the salon spa industry, I've done a lot of stuff with because I have a lot of connections there, and that's been fine. But I really prefer to work with ag-related businesses. So usually there's somebody starts a conversation with something cattle or something farming or something whatever, and then they're also like, hey, we also have these 3 other businesses that we need something to be figured out for, and that's kind of how it evolves.
So when you say marketing plan from top down, are you talking build their brand, what they stand for, logo it out, website it out, but then are you going into like, okay, now you're reading the analytics, hey, let's get your cattle in front of this many more people, let's make Facebook ads, geospatial targeting ads. I mean, are you going all the way and doing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So this is actually like one of my favorite topics to talk about, because marketing itself isn't just the design portion. Like a lot of people in this industry like to, if they're a photographer, if they're a designer, call that marketing. And like, while that is a facet of a larger umbrella, that's not really marketing. So, you can have a really cool logo, but it doesn't matter if no one's seeing it. So
we know it doesn't matter because we've never had a cool logo.
Our logo sucks.
Sorry, go ahead.
I like it. So whoever did it, kudos to them, because when I saw it, I thought it was cool. So, but there's a really, I don't want to say problem, but it's confusion across the industry where it's like I'm offering a service, but it provides no data-driven consensus on if it's actually growing your audience, I guess is the best way to put it. There's a lot of different sectors, like I said, that kind of push into that, but the marketing plan itself is what is going to be growing your brand. So that's the most important part. It's really hard to get people to understand that when they're not marketing-driven minds. They're just the operation owner or the, whatever. But so I guess that's what makes Lauren Schmid Marketing Design a little different, kind of stand out from the rest. There's not a lot of companies that do that, where they will sit down with farmers, ranchers, whoever, and actually design a marketing plan and show them each step of the way that is going to be pushing their brand in the right direction.
So why be self-named? Why be your name and then the marketing brand? People always talk to musicians about this is a self-titled album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Whitaker Marketing.
I want to hear her story. I know why Dave did it.
Right. So the less fun reason is that I needed a name and I needed it now. So I just went for it, 19 years old, and I just was like, well, it sounds good to me, so that's what we're going to rock with. But the real reason, and the reason that I'm still today have not changed, have not modified anything, is that everybody knows who I am, whether it's Lauren Schmid or Lo Schmid. I go by both. Lo was like a childhood nickname that just kind of stuck and never went away. So that's where we're at now. But everybody knows who I am. If you see my name somewhere, you usually associate it with the blonde girl like that you see on Snapchat or whatever. And that's, really just it. So it's really easy to make connections with people because my name is front and center from my business to me as a person.
Probably searching for the URL. All the other ones were taken.
Right.
I like that
Right.
it was Lo. I don't know any other Lows. I thought it was unique, so it stood out.
Yeah, it was just a softball thing. And it's funny, we were talking about these fields here. They were just beginning to being built when I was graduating high school. So this area I'm familiar with. We played softball here. And that was just my nickname as a kid. And
What
it just kind
position did you
of
play?
bled into my adult life. I grew up catching, but I have really terrible knees. So we transferred to outfield. I guess I was probably a sophomore when I went full-time outfield.
Yeah.
Played outfield the rest of the deal. And then I played club at BG just for fun and
Sure.
wrapped her up. And now I coach. So
I couldn't believe it. That's, here we don't see cattle flyers. We've got the complex while we're taking a leak
Yep.
at the urinal. And what do you think it is? 200 acres?
Oh,
least.
I don't. Is it?
it's
that big?
huge.
There's 22 fields here.
22 football fields.
Yeah.
$1 million a field, they said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
And then
nice.
We're sitting on an acre and a half right now, just between these two.
Soccer football
Right.
fields.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right,
It's
exactly.
An impressive building.
Yeah, it
So-
is.
Huge area.
How do you stand out in the current marketing world? It feels like everybody's caught up to where I was.
Yeah.
And now everybody's doing the same stuff that I was years ago when they didn't understand what geospatial ads were, lookalike audiences, or anything of that nature. Now everybody's kind of caught up to where that is. Do you have a look towards the future or what the trends are?
Well, I think what kind of sets me aside is that it's all budget motivated because in a cattle operation, numbers are the most important thing. Well, really in any operation, but especially when you're looking at buying and selling cattle or show pigs or whatever that may be. So basically, I sit down with them and discuss their budget and create a marketing plan based around a certain number because, we can shoot for the stars all day long if they want to, but if they can't afford it, then we're just
Yeah.
wasting our time.
Do you
So
think we call those plans the Cadillac.
Yeah.
Do you build a budget ever, even for the podcast? When I think about this, people ask me all the time, well, what are you willing to spend? I hate that question. What are you willing to spend? I'm willing to spend anything that will 4x my money. So I'll give you $1.5 million, but tell me what the ROI is. Does anybody build a marketing plan based on the ROI? I'll give you a 4% or a 40% return.
Yeah, we've got two clients that have reinvested with us based upon that.
Based on
They
return, not
gave
on
us a
how
number,
much.
Right? They gave us a number and said,
Right.
"What can you do for this to start off with?" We did it. It performed well for them, and now they said, "Okay, we're expanding our budget. We know that we can put this money with you. It's going to
Right.
tap in." Most of those come with some type of residual for us. Kind of a split.
right.
Yep.
A split side of things. But yeah, Farm for Profit has a budget.
Do
Farm
you
for
struggle?
Profit's always had a
do you
budget.
struggle to get the budget out of some clients? Because honestly, that's what we try to start with. But I feel like a lot of people in ag are very secretive about what they want to spend or whatever. And it's like, look, we're not trying to just maximize and spend your whole budget. But
Right.
we have to know the scope. Because when Tanner gives the Cadillac and they go, whoa, we were maybe thinking more Chevy LTZ, not
Like you,
Cadillac.
you freaking asked for Cadillac.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm usually pretty upfront, and when people approach me about services, they already kind of know what they're getting into. I'd like to say that I share a lot about what I do on socials enough that people really have an idea, or they've heard from their friend or their whoever that they know they're going to have some sort of something for me to work off of. But to his point, in his line of work, it's a lot less black and white than it might be for a cattle operation of some variety, whether that's show cattle or commercial cows or a beef to table type operation, where they know we've seen the numbers
I've
and
got
this is all we
60 head
got.
to sell.
Yeah, this is all we got.
It's typically going to be this many dollars a pound.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and so that there's either a percentage of their gross income at the end of the year that they allot for that, or they say right now this is what we can afford.
So as you see that's one of Corey's favorite questions. When you look at your clients, what percentage of gross revenues are they spending in marketing, or should they be?
I usually recommend 10% of gross income, but that's not always doable. So sometimes I'll say, well, let's start with 5 then. Or maybe it's let's start with 5% of, and then it's this pot of money that we have over here versus gross income at the end of the year. It just really depends on their expenses, and ultimately they just have to trust me to see that information. There's a non-disclosure that's signed, obviously, so they can feel comfortable sharing those things with me.
And I don't want to alienate our audience. This episode is providing value for you. We're geeking out. I totally get that. But even if you run a custom spraying business, there's still value in marketing yourself if you want to pick up more acres or maintain clients. Or
Exactly.
Maybe you've identified clients you want to fire next year, and you need to pick acres up to replace that. Everything from that to our agribusiness listeners, and partners that we work with. It's just that it's fun to get to meet people. It's neat that we're kind of geeking out on the same page.
Right.
But it's wild to see that you've built it yourself.
Yeah, it's been a crazy 7 years, like from what I thought it was going to be as a 19-year-old versus now having dealt with thousands of clients, whether that be on the design end or the marketing end or just photo and video and content creation end. It's cool to see how the industry is changing, but also how we are able to shape it with the things that we can do for our clients.
Do you offer social management, or are you just creating the content for it?
I offer management. I handle that for most of my clients, and that's really just a preference because they don't have the time. So if I give them something and they have no time to execute it, then we're back where we started. So
how
usually
do
I
you
just
have
handle
the
it.
time?
I do it all ahead of time. Like through Meta
Schedule.
platforms, you have the ability to put everything in ahead of time, and I just have it all done.
So we utilize a platform, Sprout.
Yeah, sure. Either way.
Makes it convenient for us as well. We can be there, right? We can post something live right now if we wanted to, but we know we're going to be at this show, so we can schedule things ahead of time.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like work smarter, not harder type of situation. I really love that Meta has done that because in the past they used to use like third-party apps more so than like Sprout. Even they were more clunky, I guess is the best way to put it, when it was just becoming a thing, and Meta would like penalize you for using them. So they basically wanted you to be on their app utilizing their services. Now they've obviously looked at other business owners and said that's not feasible and we need to start lightening up on that. So it's a lot more streamlined now, and they don't penalize you on the analytics end.
So how often should you be posting?
It really depends. My whole entire marketing philosophy is more quality, less quantity. So I want the content to be engaging. I want it to be what the client needs or wants to see, or something that appeals to their needs, wants, desires. Because ultimately, if you're posting quantity content, you're just getting something out there, and there's little to no value behind it, and that's not going to grow you. So
it's like we have a problem because we put 2 shows out a week, and I would argue when we take 3 clips out of a show, we post once a day for a week, we've got value. Like there's more that isn't getting shared in short form that could be. But how do you get away with posting 4 times a day?
Well, it's really easy in this particular situation to be posting, especially like on well, I guess we'll see how it turns out, but like TikTok, where they welcome more posts per day. That's what they want. They want 4 or 5, 6 videos to go out at one time and watch them all perform, and that's awesome. But like most clients in most operations don't have readily available video content. The world is kind of spinning on video right now, and that's what I have to go and do for them. So we might be there filming for an entire morning just to get 3 reels or 3 TikToks to put out over the next however long. So it's really taking what you can elsewhere organically to also stimulate the audience while you have to like space it out in between like video content going out. But for you guys, it's awesome because you have that readily available because you do enough per week.
When we first started doing video, it was a major transformation for us, and we were not focused on quality. And it absolutely drove me nuts because I was like, man, if we're going to take the time to do this and pay for the editing and do all and Tanner would be like, he's just like, it's out there. It's fine. It's content. It's like, no, but
because I listened to a lot of Gary Vee.
Yeah.
He just preached if the content quality is good, the quality of the visual doesn't have to be.
But then I see your stuff pop up, or like Barn Talk or whatever, like peers of mine. I'm like, oh my God, it looks so good. And I actually will stay and watch it. And I look at ours, and
it might be terrible messaging or just have no point at all.
Right.
It's like, oh, it just pissed me off. But we're getting better, slowly.
No, I agree. I do think you are. I've done my research, and Kobe really likes listening to you guys. So,
well, that's good.
We're not first timers.
I mean, the internet is a wild place of like where a stranger's just like, hey, do you want to come on our podcast and drive 4 hours? And it's like,
that was fun though.
Hopefully they're not serial killers.
I'll sit here and talk about my business all day long, so that doesn't really bother me any.
That is one of the things that's a benefit for us. Is typically the people that we have on, we ask them to talk about themselves or talk about what they're experts in. It's like, hey, we can sit back and hang out.
Yeah.
Just go ahead, run with it.
Exactly.
So what do you do for fun when you're not in your business?
I coach softball. I coach hitting lessons. I was All-State when I was in high school. It was something I was really passionate about. Taking that to the next generation has been a lot of fun. All the girls I've had through my program have picked D1 programs to go play at. I have a girl at Bowling Green right now, which was like real special for me because that's where I came from. So she's in her freshman year, getting ready to catch at Bowling Green, and
Because you have a daughter.
I do.
But she's not old enough to play, or
No.
she t-ball level?
No, she's only 19 months old.
Oh, jeez.
She's got an arm. Like she could throw a ball.
So
But
really-
like
really
we have some time yet.
A little over a year.
I got 19.
Just in case you
she
want.
Just
You're a little over
year
a
and
year
a half.
Dave.
I'm like,
Nearing 2.
what, 428 months old?
Right.
In case you're curious.
19
How many-
divided by
I don't know when you
24.
stop that. I guess it's got
Right.
to be.
Well,
like-
she's not 1 and she's not 2, so we're just somewhere in between right now.
That's fun.
Have you
So
ever done?
I want to.
oh, go ahead.
I want to talk more about the swing because I geek out. I got
Yeah,
2
Tanner's a
daughters
coach as well.
Yeah.
and have a lot of fun. Have you been seeing the softball swing become more like the baseball swing?
I'm actually against that philosophy because I believe there's too much movement in the eyes.
Do you still hit your back?
No.
Remember, I just remember that. Why are
The
you
thud.
slapping your back with
Yeah.
the bat? That makes no sense.
So you don't
No.
like the movement in your eyes. The
No.
fact that it's
Right. Yeah, there's too much of a, they call it the knee drive, which in baseball, I could go on for hours about this,
Good.
but they, like, you know, when you look at like a Major League Baseball player's swing, they're loading completely up onto their back leg and lifting off the ground. That entire time your eyes are moving. If you are staying planted, putting all your weight on your back foot and driving using your quad muscles and your ab muscles as a woman, which is where your strength is versus your arms as a man, then your eyes don't move the entire time you see the ball better.
okay. So like I've been teaching my girls a baseball swing. Like
Yeah.
we load up, and I'll even do drills to where I prop that front foot 6 inches in the air, put it up on a
That's
cone,
okay.
put it on,
No, that's okay.
and to get them loaded. And it's
Yes.
fascinating. I'll even start them with both feet together and have them stride into it, and the amount of power that is generated from that moment. But it is neat to hear you put it into terms of we can still generate that power while staying stationary,
Yes.
staying planted.
Yeah, it's just a different use of like muscle systems because of
Yep.
like women's strength versus a man's strength. But the drill where their foot is up is also one of my favorite drills because that's not teaching them to pick their foot up off the ground. It's
fair.
teaching them to keep all of their weight in their quad muscles.
Yep.
So they're stationary on their back leg and driving their knee through that way versus picking up completely off the ground, moving their eyes.
So what's the name of this company? D1 Dingers or something like that?
No, it doesn't have a name. I
Oh,
didn't like.
okay.
I used to when I got started coaching. It was under a place called Red Shed, and it was just this little red barn that like friends of ours had, and I just didn't have the time like I did back then prior to starting my company, and so I kind of just like do my own thing privately now.
Well, thanks
Yeah.
for letting me geek out for a little bit.
How many
Go into it.
home runs did you hit in high school?
None.
None.
No, I slapped. Like I was
Ah.
fast, and we just
Lefty.
She
Yeah.
was fast. She's not fast anymore.
he tries to race
It
me all
is
the time.
crazy.
We fight about it a lot.
Them lefties that slap hit in softball, like you can get there so dang fast.
Yeah.
Even if you hit a perfectly good ground ball to the shortstop,
Yeah.
I mean they're screwed.
My
Yeah,
young- my
that
young-
was it for me. Yeah, I didn't hit a home run until I was in college. Like I hit one, I think,
How
maybe.
many home runs did you hit, Tanner?
I never put a baseball over the fence, but I had multiple in the park.
Yeah,
Doesn't
same.
count.
Yeah, I didn't count those, I guess, because, yeah.
Yeah, it took me until I got to slow pitch softball before I put
Yeah.
one over the fence.
Yeah.
Like it's just a completely different game. But my 8-year-old, I've got her switch hitting with the ultimate plan of let's get her to slap.
And send her to my place. We'll have her figured
Well,
out.
there's a lot of conversation that we've been having. I kind of would like you to relocate to Iowa.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, hey,
Kobe, just-
I will come. I will fly. We have friends of ours in Louisiana, and they their girls are all into softball, and they're like, we might need to just borrow you for a couple weekends. And I'm like, hey, I'll come.
I'm liking the sounds of
Yeah.
this.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. We really enjoy it, and they enjoy it because they're successful, and that's like
Sure.
what makes it the most rewarding.
When's the age to start that? I mean, obviously you can start at any time, but when's it the most impactful?
Man, I don't know. Like, because when they're younger, you still want to make sure they're having fun. So, like, I've had girls that are 6, and I wouldn't say that the lesson looks anything like people probably imagine it does when you send a 6-year-old to hitting lessons. We have a lot of fun. There's a lot of, like, goofing around and very purposeful goofing around, but it's not nearly as structured as, like, an 8 or a 10-year-old, you know, when they're becoming more mentally developed. So I don't really have a good answer to that because I think it really depends on the kid too and how much they love it.
I think you got to start young, though. My friend in Story City, she played for Iowa, and she's coaching, and her daughters are the same age as our kids, but every day of the week, I swear they're somewhere. They're from hitting lessons to club ball to travel ball to they are gone nonstop.
And we're probably going to get a bunch of hate from my next comment, but I just call it the dad effect. And again, it can be the mom effect, but I call it the dad effect because you can tell when you coach rec ball or you go into some of these teams to what kid only touches a basketball, a volleyball, a softball when they're at practice. The dad effect is let's just do something at home.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're hitting tennis balls at a wall or you're throwing them off the roof and catching them.
Right.
If you're shooting, just playing horse in the driveway, whatever it is, I would rather see a kid go through the motions and fall in love with the game rather than, we got hitting on Tuesday and we got pitching on Friday.
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it can be a lot for these kids and puts a lot of pressure on them. When I was growing up, it was, my dad's a really intense guy, but it was just now becoming a thing to play travel ball. Like, it was real low-key compared to what it is now. Even as I was finishing up high school, it wasn't anything like it is now. But my dad pushed me, and we did play on a lot of teams. Like, we still played local, like your local ballpark league, and that was, one of my most fond memories because it was me and a bunch of girls, and, a lot of those girls never played softball again, and some of us went and played a lot of softball, and it was just a good mix of kids when that was still allowed, and I feel like that's getting phased out, which is why you're seeing local ballparks disappear.
I love these conversations because you never know where they're going to go.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm at because I'm the same as you. Like, it was just starting to get into travel ball when I was in, and my parents didn't let me do that because I had livestock and all this other stuff.
I
on the
played
farm.
Kaba,
But then my younger brother got to get a little taste of that.
Right.
And I see, him and I are completely different anyway, but I see he didn't spend as much time on the farm, and now he's back on the farm, and him and I are completely different, you know, and it's weird. Not bad in any way, but I also see how much time these kids and families are spending and money. I got a cousin that they're gone every dang weekend, and granted they got great jobs. They don't need to, they don't own their own business. They can go check out, but like, holy cow, they're dumping it. And the 99% of the kids are never going to go on to the next level, right? Sports are great. They teach a lot of
softball,
things.
The odds of it making you a life after college is pretty slim. Go girl for like everybody that's done it, but I know that the salary isn't going to be what your degree is worth, wherever you ended up with that. So that's not really like a philosophy, with kids like younger boys, if they have an arm and like you're looking at them maybe pitching in the major league someday, obviously you're going to push them in that direction. But for girls, that's just like not really a thing.
Dave always asked, was the juice worth the squeeze?
What?
Yep.
Yeah. Is it?
Farmers, you do it all. So should your technology. Level up your equipment with the latest innovations from Ag Leader.
From sure force downforce control and sure speed high accuracy planting to right spot individual nozzle control, Ag Leader has you covered.
And now, with the new In Command Go displays, you get unparalleled visibility and control, keeping critical information at your fingertips. Upgrade today and reap the benefits this season.
Visit agleader.com or contact your local Ag Leader dealer to get started.
It's a way to get an education sometimes.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know, but I quit.
Scholarship, NIL money.
I quit doing sports in high school when I realized
You weren't any good at it?
I was putting 8 hours, every other day or whatever into practice, and I thought, how much money I can make if I worked at Hardee's for that same amount of hours, even at $4 an hour. I could have a pickup paid for by this, and I won't have any debt. And so I went the route of how much time did I waste that I could have been working, and so I started working that much earlier than everyone else, and I think it set me a bar ahead of everyone else, because when they made it to 25 years old, I'd already bought the house, bought the car, had the farm, had the everything, because I'd already paid for it.
Yeah.
And they're still screwing around with the softball.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe they had more fun, but now what did I miss out on?
Well, I was the same way because I had opportunity to play for real at Bowling Green and chose not to because I wanted to work.
Yeah.
So, they said, well, we also have this club program. And I'm like, okay, what's that entail? And they're like, well, sometimes we practice once a week. And I'm like, sounds like me. Like, we'll play on the weekends and have a good time. But I just knew what the commitment was going to be on a scholarship level, and I was not ready to give that up career-wise to play softball.
That's interesting because I remember as far as baseball went as a kid, like I was doing two things in my life to make college the cheapest it could possibly be. I was going to be the best baseball player that I could be, and I was going to have the best grades that I could. And thankfully ended up, walking out without any student loans because of the scholarship opportunities. But it's the same thing. It just, the number of kids that play rec ball to the number of kids that play travel ball to the number of kids that go play collegiately versus to make it professionally, that number just continues to dwindle. And that kind of is the same thing with small business owners. A lot of small businesses get started and very few get finished.
Right.
Before travel ball, everyone had a town league, little league.
Right.
And then you go on to junior high and high school, and everyone could play. The good people got, sent to the top. But you could get the lessons of the team and losing, responsibility, but still have a life. I don't know. How many of the travel leagues are maybe forcing your kid, the parent living vicariously, that they missed out?
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Like it's
I'm not going to lie. The way I coach my girls is it's things that I learned after I quit playing.
Yeah.
That I wished I would have known while I was playing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I remember a couple years ago, the girl I have that's at Bowling Green now, she's getting ready to go into her freshman year, and we just had so many good conversations with her growing up because I had her since she was like 9. So we're getting ready to go in high school. It's like we're finally here. And I just it had a moment where it just kind of dawned on me. And I just looked at her, I was like, what do you want to do with this? Really? Like, do you want to play in college? Like, is that something you want me to put you in a position to do? Because if you say no, I'm not going to be mad. I'm just going to put you as your best you, and you can play and have a great high school career and enjoy it. And she's like, yeah, I think I do want to play in college, and that was still a pretty young conversation for that. But then, it comes to sophomore year when we start getting recruits, and she's starting to get calls and things, and she starts to pick up speed there. And I'm like, okay, now the conversation is not if you want to play, it's where do you want to play? Do you want to go far away from your family? Do you want to stay home? What's that look like for you? And she has older siblings like I do. Like my sister's 10 years older, and she has a similar situation. And so she's practically an only child, in some sense of the word. And she's like, I really don't want to leave my mom and dad. And I was like, okay, like we'll sort those out and find you somewhere local to go. And then she ended up at Bowling Green, which was kind of a crowning moment for me, I think. Send her back to the place that I love. So
I would say, for the sake of our audience, I want to kind of bring it back to marketing.
I was going to bring it back to something, but okay.
No, go right ahead. I got notes. I'll come back to
we were
my
just
notes.
talking about crazy travel league softball. What has also changed is the show industry.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
How has that changed in your – obviously you're making money from it, so how has that changed?
I think that my situation is funny because my dad was not the dad that was willing to buy me a really high dollar animal. The animals that we were purchasing were
You're supposed to grow them.
simply.
Come on,
well,
Pepe.
listen.
You don't buy them at all. Now everybody buys them.
Listen, we were collecting puzzle pieces to make them.
Okay.
Is what I was going to say. And we had a lot of really good success, like showing at like Louisville and things like that. And that's kind of where we ended up. But the industry now is kind of working its way backwards, where the parents usually purchasing some sort of high dollar animal, which that starts their herd, which is not like when I was growing up, it was completely the opposite. So that's really what I'm seeing now. It's just people that have really successful businesses doing other things, whether it's farming or owning a real estate company or whatever, and funding those dreams.
Yeah. It's all a write-off.
I remember.
I don't know how in the world they afford it, because there's not a lot of money in show cattle unless you are the top of that breed and you have the genetics and sell embryos or 2,000 straws of this at X amount of dollars.
Exactly.
And you own
It's
a
the travel
fifth
softball team, man. It's the money they're spending every weekend.
It's cowboy tailgating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is absolutely nuts, the trailers and what the money that they spend on these things.
I mean, our listeners know I love listening to Rump Chat. And just how rodeos changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's just gone to.
It's all for the show.
And maybe COVID is more about post-COVID is more about experiencing life and things and doing these memory-generating activities. But it was that way before COVID. At least going that direction.
I remember when we had show pigs, and my dad, we'd buy pigs for $35-40 a head. And I remember one year we were going to win it. We spent $100. We didn't place any better.
Right.
We didn't place any better.
We walked through. We'd get a group in the finisher. We'd walk through and we'd blue paint them, and we'd tag them. That was my 4-H livestock. It was the same hog that was farrowed in the same barn that made
Now
everything for our
they
commercial
actually
production.
spend time with their pigs, and they got them to keep their heads up, and it's like
Hair and skin.
I thought you had to have
Oh
a
my
pencil
God.
like right in the back, and you had to be able to walk that pig with the pencil right in the.
In the loin?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
But that's I remember that too. Our 4-H advisors would tell us you got to go walk them around, and a couple kids would walk them around the yard, and I'm like, I'd never left the pen.
Yeah.
We'd move them
Right.
to the pen closest to the shop or closest to the office, and maybe I would spend 2 10, 15, 20-minute periods of just walking in the pen. Otherwise, no, you didn't go in unless you had to drag a dead
You know what I
one
hate about show cattle? You ready for this?
Do you have a list?
About show anything. So, in softball, only the best kids play. They get the most time. In baseball, basketball, whatever, the best kids play. In show cattle, anybody can play, but it's all opinion based of who wins. So, I might like the look of a long-bodied, deep belly dragon heifer, something like that. But by God, that judge, his opinion or her opinion is I like the short packaged squatty cattle, but they got a more feminine throat latch, or et cetera, et cetera. So it's opinion of what it is. So I could be the best at what it is, even in ones that I thought were the best, and then my opinion was wrong.
It reminds
It just
me.
depends on the day.
Yeah.
Rachel, you got to add that guy that does livestock judging to our guest list. What the hell's his name?
Oh yeah, with the flashy jacket.
Yeah, with a
Ryan
shirt like
Ryan
mine.
Rash.
Yeah,
Yes.
Brian Rash.
He's hilarious.
I've
You'd love
literally
it.
reached out to him before.
Dude,
I
my
know,
wife
put him on
would
the
be
list.
like
He's a hoot.
in the audience. If
Did you know he has his own podcast also?
Yes, I've-
yeah, they're
yeah.
hilarious.
Lowe's gonna hook us up.
I wouldn't say we're on a first name basis, but like I think he's hilarious.
See, now this is why we shoot, trap, and skeet. Everybody gets the same amount of playtime. It's did you break the clay or not?
Yeah,
it's
there's
not
no-
somebody's opinion. It's did you perform, yes or no. It's an individual sport, but it's also a team sport. So your individual score, you can win as the best shooter, but then it's also the team.
Yeah, there's no politics of like, oh, I want this guy to come to my show because that's the kind
Correct.
of cattle I grow, or I'm going to go to this show because I know that judge is going to be
And most
there.
guns shoot the same. You could buy the $8,000 gun, or you can buy the $200 whatever. It'll
Yeah.
still break the damn clay.
It's like your watches. All of our watches tell the same time.
I know. Right?
well,
I have mine 10 minutes ahead, so I'm not late.
that's what I should.
How about
That's why you were up at 7 this morning.
How-
Jeez.
how about you just don't be late? Like it is not a novel concept. What do you
I might
gotta-
argue that.
What do you got to say there?
I'm always late.
Fashionably late.
Today I was early though, so hey,
You were on time.
Yeah,
we were late.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were late.
I was really happy you were late because usually it's me late. So
We were here. We just we take these conversations different routes, and I will wrap some up because of our schedule. But if we have the freedom to keep an engaging conversation going, I don't stop it.
right.
So I mean that's about it for today. So thanks.
Yeah, on
everybody.
that note, no.
On that note,
See ya.
I'm kidding. What I was going to go back to is in the marketing side of things because we've been curious. I know Dave's dove into things a lot deeper than I have. What's your take on AI as in playing with it?
It's hard to say because it's not really relevant in my industry as it would be like for larger scale corporate businesses or corporate based businesses, I should say, because it can be a useful tool for those types of things in terms of like content creation and whatnot. But I can't really, there's yet to be a AI platform that can accurately discuss anything ag related. It might get the pieces, kind of similar to what they need to be, but, like, one of my clients is called Frontier Embryo Center, and what they do is all of the embryo work for people that need recip cattle. And so I can't really teach an AI platform to explain that accurately. It gets a little bit of the pieces that we've tried, like kind of the concept, but as a cattle woman, man,
you're talking like a chat bot.
no, it's like
Okay.
they have there's platforms that like actually like helps you put together content.
Okay, like more of a descript.
The
Got it.
copy,
Got
like
it. Yep.
itself. And like as a cattleman woman, like me and you talking about cattle, you're gonna know if it was written by me or if it was written by
Sure, just
a
by
bot.
the word delve.
Right, like
Yeah.
it, like you are, like not going to, I guess, feel the same. Like it's just the feeling, like conversation style from a human versus a chatbot.
Do you ever use it for assistance in logo design or graphics
No,
design?
absolutely not. No, that's
Yep.
all from my own hands.
Did
People
you have an art background for that stuff?
No, I just enjoy it, like the creative side of things, and that's kind of like therapeutic for me, being able to create things like
So
that.
Canva or InDesign?
Both,
Okay.
depending on what we're making.
Fair
I
enough.
mean,
Fair enough.
there's really, in my opinion, no need to use InDesign for things like if I'm putting a sale out for one of my clients on like a Snapchat story, because it already has the rendering, and you just pop
Got
it
it.
in and go. And plus, like, most people that work for me aren't overly familiar with the art world as I am, and I'm not going to force them to learn. It's just not a good use of time. If they can just like jump on Canva and put something together that I can approve of pretty quick.
Yeah, like we utilize AI to help us through the podcast process, but it is so much our questions and personalities that make everything go.
Right.
But it's nice to be able to use like a Descript or an AI tool to help with show notes.
Yeah,
sometimes,
exactly.
like Jess put the outline together for you that we really haven't used, but we've had other interviews this week that chat did.
Yeah.
Like, oh, great, here's a list of questions that would be
Yeah.
interesting in this topic range. Still got to
Right.
prompt it, still got to provide a lot of experience.
Yeah, like that's
but-
it's a good tool to use for those types of things, but
Yeah.
when it comes to actually being the human that's writing and the tone of voice being correct and like the underlying knowledge of an industry, no matter what that is, you're not really going to get that. And maybe at least not yet.
Besides it being a waste of time, one of these times we should just follow the outline.
That sounds terrible.
Gross.
You guys can do that one.
A little A/B testing. We'll see what happens.
Right.
But yeah. So with AI, I think so. Everybody thinks AI. They immediately think chat. Stop thinking chat. Think large language learning models, LLMs. Okay, that's AI at its best. So what she's saying is it's not up to speed yet. But I
No.
think AI is coming. So once I can teach AI, make it learn that the way that I would answer a question or the way I would make a post on Facebook isn't just say, our next farm for sale is blah, blah, blah acres. I say, get your checkbook. And I get more traffic on that than I do over here. It will know the way that I would say something. It needs to learn it yet. I'm struggling with this too because everybody wants me to put AI chatbots somewhere and talk to my customers. Look, if I'm not talking to them, then they think it's BS.
Yeah, right.
There's coming
Exactly.
a time, but it's learning right now. I don't think
Yeah.
we're there yet, but it's learning exponentially. So
Well, and I mean, on the livestock end though, like I just am not convinced that you can teach a bot 20, like in my case, 25 years of cattle industry experience.
So take this. I taught a class at the Cattlemen's. Benton County Cattlemen's hired us. It was awesome.
Yep.
And so I taught a class on AI, and everybody thought we were going to talk about artificial insemination,
Right.
but I used AI to teach AI. And so what we did is I asked my wife, I said, give me the top 4 bulls that you have for sires. And she looked at them and said, I like the look of that one, that one, that one, that one. I said, great. Now here's the EPDs, the expected progenies of the heifer that we want to breed to, but we specifically want calving ease. We specifically want a cleaner throat latch on them. We specifically want gainability at 6 pounds a day and a lower milk score. And now study these 4 sires, and boom, it actually picked one for us based on the criteria that we gave us. So there is ways to use AI for like
a tool.
predictive analytics in it. And then I went back in and asked, of course, prompting, which one's the best in the show ring? And it changed its answer. So this one had won more than this one had. I know you wanted this, but you still want to show it? Hey, go with this one over here.
Right.
So we might get some of that as we're doing predictive analytics.
I was telling Corey the other day, what are you putting your hand up for?
What the hell is this throat latch?
A feminine throat latch. It's cleaner. It's not soggy. They use the word soggy.
You're
Adam's
hiding
apple?
the apples.
I was waiting to hear what you thought it was.
Oh, you said it twice now, and I'm like,
Yep.
all right.
Got to be something to this.
She looks feminine. It's more
Flashy.
more flashy. Put a little chrome on them.
I
Have you ever
didn't know
heard that
was
term?
a part of
Put a little
the
chrome on
show.
them.
I think I told Corey that I ended up using AI to help provide a short list of vehicles for us to go test drive for my
Right.
wife.
Good tool.
I'm an analytics guy. I had an Excel spreadsheet almost 11 years ago that identified that we went and bought a Honda Pilot. It included best resale. It included the potential art of negotiation off of a MSRP. It was what kind of features do I get. I built this whole thing out. We went and test drove 4 vehicles to get down to that one.
It's
I was
so weird.
Getting ready. I
This
was
is so terrible.
getting ready to do the same thing, and I was like, oh. Well, instead of me go looking everywhere, why don't I let it comb the internet? And-
Who doesn't
and I
pick
did.
a car by what they like?
177.
that's sexy. I want that
I was
one.
able to compare 177 different models. There's obviously not that many makes.
Right.
But every package in the vehicle side, and I know compared to what's important to me. Well, I'm going to drive it for a while, so resale value is great, but I need it to be resale value 6-7 years from now versus what's a 1-year holdover. So I have all these prompts, everything in my spreadsheet. We've got a list of 4 cars that we're going to go test drive, and we'll see which one is the most comfortable.
And it was all fake because I go, why not minivans?
Oh,
You're like,
freaking minivan.
They don't have the all-wheel drive. And I'm like, yes,
They do.
I don't want a minivan.
I don't either.
You still
Not doing
chose
that.
what you like.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not in a minivan anymore, but I pushed back so freaking hard. I did not want to go to a minivan. Dude, it was awesome. It was
Dude,
awesome.
it's awesome.
It was awesome. Easy to get in. Dude, I could haul
Shake your
4x8
head like,
sheets
no.
of plywood in that thing.
No.
All the seats folded down electronically flat. It was better than my truck bed. and then the girls are getting out, not dinging everybody's door. I can open every door. It was cool. I mean, yes, I had to swallow my pride. I spent up for, as a Chrysler Pacifica, I spent up for the S package, so it had a little ground effects and stuff. But
little snappy.
yeah. We're in an SUV now, so yeah, that's way better. I do like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I want Dave. First, I'm going to ask a question, then I'm going to ask Dave. Have you ever done an auction flyer or worked for a land sales or equipment business?
I mean, no, I don't think so. Not off the top of my head. I mean, I talk to a lot of people that are auctioneers or do those things, but I don't think I've ever worked with the company that is behind it.
So it seems like
specifically.
almost weekly Dave is complaining about something graphics-wise in his business. And Dave has several graphics people, and then all of a sudden Dave's like, yeah, I didn't sleep last night. I stayed up all night making my own magazine. So what's some of your frustrations?
So there's lots of people that say they're graphics people. They're very good at being the draftsman. They know how to run in design. I say put a circle here, they put a circle here, but they are not architects. They can't design it.
Creators.
They're not the creators of what to put there. Just like posting content on social. There's lots of people that can click post, but they're not good at coming up with the idea of what it is. And so I struggle because I want to just pass it off. I don't want to micromanage anymore, but I have an idea in my head. And so I'll give a flavor like, I want this to be executive. We sell high dollar land. It's millions of dollars, but it's still agriculture. I need hierarchy of text. I need them to see this first. Farmland auction. They have 5 seconds while they're at the store to get this and then go what it is. Catch their attention, the who, the what, the where, the what. So I give them some parameters, and then I just get it the same old Canva template that I had last week, and so very frustrating. So, yeah.
Hi, my name's Lauren Schmid. I can handle that for you.
You see where I'm going with this? So lots of people
You
can't.
didn't know we actually brought you here as a
Right.
job
Yeah.
interview?
Right, okay, well.
The other thing I will say with Dave is he wants something and he wants it now.
Yesterday.
Like that.
Yeah,
I'll
that
give you
is-
that. That is, yes.
And so when you are a small business and you have multiple clients, that's got to be a struggle to move that to the top when it's like, I'm already behind on this or that. Or
I
you
mean,
just
I can get
charge
anything
more,
done fast. You just charge more.
Right?
Yeah, it just depends how much you're willing to pay.
Well, frustration there. I had a huge job I knew was coming at Christmas. I called my graphics guy and I said,
I'm sending him this show.
do you have capacity? He says, yes, I do. I said, get ready because this is going to be a 10 millionaire. I need you now. And I said, double charge me, put everybody else to the side. I need you to go drone. I need you to do this. Perfect. The next week we get the job. I write in an outline that I need it done by next Friday. So he'd already told me he's good to go. By next Friday, I need it. We missed 4 deadlines. He didn't get it done. So don't tell me you can do it and then not do it. And I even said charge me double. I mean, I was willing to pay for it because I knew I had a short time window, and warned him weeks before that to let him know. So there's just frustrations with that. You got to do what you say. I
He's
don't
got
care.
the wrong guy.
Well, there's tons of people that, they either forgot to tell me or they didn't think they were going to need me or whatever, and they'll come, their sale is in 2 weeks, and I just tell them what it's going to cost, and that's where we go.
Now, fast forward to today. He got everything done. I helped him design. He did the draftsman. We just won the Best Marketing Awards with it at Minnesota Auctioneers Convention. So
way to save face that one.
all three of them won first in class.
Wow.
You should send her some of your stuff. And
Yeah.
you created a company magazine, or what do you call that?
Yeah, we're working on a brand new magazine right now called The Land Source. So trying to get content ideas, just get in front of customers. just another touch point.
What is your social strategy like?
Every one of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots. So mine has actually been lots of content, maybe not the quality sometimes, but for branding. When you think of Victoria's Secrets, what do you think of? Lingerie, right? Or let me reverse that. When you think of lingerie, what do you think of? The company, Victoria's Secrets. When you think of farmland, I want you to immediately think David Whitaker.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be the Victoria's Secrets of farmland.
Okay.
If you will. So that's been the strategy, is that everything that we talk about, content curation versus creation. Curation is you find me as the trusted expert. So did you know that 84% of farms are paid for free and clear in Iowa? I didn't ask for your business. But when you thought of farmland, you're like, that son of a bitch knows what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So content curation, posting maps, posting sales data, posting everything, anything farmland, but it doesn't ask you for the sale. Mm-hmm. I don't have a ask on all the social stuff. Most of the print stuff I ask, would you like a free, there's a call to action on those. Would you like a free land valuation? But socially, I don't ask. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the strategy so far. I did one in every 5 posts, but then you got to be relatable too. So sometimes I got so much land stuff that I'm like, crap, I need a picture of my kid.
Right.
Great. Hey, we're playing baseball today. Mm-hmm. I did one with ice fishing 2 days ago. I was like, I gotta post ice fishing just so that there was something in.
We're
the
real
way.
human.
Yep. Then I'm real. Correct.
Land companies are odd.
Except for he didn't tell you that post was, hey, go grab that baseball, go out to the front yard,
right.
throw it like look like you're throwing it at me. Okay, thanks. Go back inside.
Yeah. And Google. Google's big. Who loves Google more than anybody? Google loves content.
Yeah.
So.
Dave's very confident, and it comes off cocky to a lot of people. A lot of probably, so you're in this space where you're selling land, and some farmers buy land, but the people that are selling land isn't necessarily the farmer all the time.
Correct.
And so, I got a couple people last week. Dave posted they had a really good year last year. Mm-hmm. They sold $57 million worth of farmland, almost $60 million. That was his goal. And I had 2 people reach out. Like, why the hell would Dave post how much he's making? And everyone thinks a realtor makes 7 or 8%.
Yeah.
Because they know housing,
Right.
And it's like, and he's like, I'm not going to buy that. I'm like, dude, you're not going to care at all if that farm comes up that you wanted to buy and Dave's selling it, you're going to go bid at it.
Right.
Right? You're not his customer. The person that has land to sell is his customer.
You know where I got that idea? ChatGPT. So I went ChatGPT and I asked for a business plan for next year, and it said celebrate your wins from 2024 and make sure that you give them your goal for 2025. So I don't know if you noticed at the bottom, goal for next year is $100 million.
Yep.
So we needed people to celebrate with us and thank them for helping us get there.
Yeah.
And I hesitated even posting it because I thought it was cocky, but everything that I read.
That is the part I don't like about ag and farmers. We sometimes just get in our own way of being pessimists.
It's like reading a text message.
Why wouldn't you want him to succeed?
Yeah.
He's not competing against you at all.
Nobody
Right.
says congratulations.
No.
Nobody.
And it is. It's that tone. I know farmers read text messages different than everybody else because it's not a I'm happy for you sentiment.
Never.
It's that's condescending or
Right.
hey, wow, that's a
Must be nice.
bullshit.
Oh, you got a new tractor?
Yeah.
Must be nice.
Daddy's money.
And what they don't realize is you're just throwing fuel in the fire, and
Right.
he's just going to do it more.
Cash flow.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of funny, but yeah. Well, should we wrap it up? What else we got? You guys gonna walk around here, see some?
I don't know. Whatever he
Cloud
wants to
Drainage
do.
stuff.
This is
Maybe get
all
some
over
lunch.
my head.
I gotta go. I just got a text from the Des Moines Register. They'd like to interview me on my deal, so I
nice.
gotta go do an interview.
We do have to feed Tanner. If we don't do
We-
that,
he'll
he
get
gets
hangry.
hangry. So
Don't feed the
Here,
wildlife.
Bloody Nut or Better Bar.
Yeah, there you go.
I've been watching it. I
Yeah.
have.
I've been
I'm like-
watching it.
I'm like Dave only ate 3 out of 4 in that package.
We're good.
I
I got
think-
my sugar out of those
You ate-
Laffy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, Dave only ate 3 out of 4 Nutter Butters, but he pounded an entire package
Airheads
of
Extreme.
Airheads Extreme.
How about
Morning snack.
future for Lo Schmid Marketing? You're gonna keep growing the business, or what do you think?
I think growth is subjective. It's just finding what the balance in between happiness and success is for me. I'm not going to run myself dry doing this business. I'm really enjoying it right now.
I don't
but
believe you because I see you never sleep. I'm
but
not gonna run myself
so,
dry.
I
The
mean,
best never do.
She got a
Listen.
4-hour nap today. It was in the
I
car
did.
ride over.
I did, and that only started because our daughter, when she was born, she did not sleep. She screamed for the first 6 months. So I was already up, and it was easier to do things with her throughout the night if I was already up versus waking up to do the things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now I'm a third shift worker, and sometimes that doesn't align with everyone else's schedules, but we're here, and I got to go home and pack and fly to Texas at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning.
That'll be tough. You're not going to bed, are you?
Texas.
What's in Texas?
I got invited by one of my clients. There's a very large like boutique wholesalers market going on in Dallas-Fort Worth tomorrow. They own a hat shop, like cowboy hats. Well,
Hattery.
I mean multiple different types of hats, but they're going, and they had extra passes and invited me. So I'm taking me and one of my good friends, and we're gonna make a couple days out of it. I'm gonna go and see another client while I'm there, and
How do you
do some
educate?
filming.
So, like, I'm going to Digital Marketing Summit, which is not associated with anything in my business.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a separate third party. I try to learn from people outside the industry
Mm-hmm.
that's more corporate. So
Sure.
do you do stuff like that?
I really enjoy the social media marketing podcast. I'm not sure if you listen to it. You'd probably like it. But the guy that does that is just overall knowledgeable in terms of like teaching people that are in the marketing realm already, even if you have very basic knowledge on what's coming. And that's all that I really need to know, because if I can understand what's coming, then I can do my own research and kind of get opinions. I really love looking on TikTok there and just getting like peer reviews of things that are coming basically, and making my own assumptions. But like I said, I do a lot of data work and just like analyzing the numbers and trends. So all I really need is like the start of what's coming, and then I will
Take
adjust
it.
from there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, well, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, how can people find you, or if they want to work with you?
I am on every social platform, Lauren Schmid Marketing and Design on Facebook, Lo Schmid Marketing on Instagram, and Lo Schmid Marketing on Snapchat. But
And the best way, shoot you an email or
text
DM,
is fine,
text?
419-605-6142.
There you go.
Easiest way to
That's dangerous.
get
That is
directly.
dangerous.
Well, so I
That's
have a work phone and I
dangerous.
have a personal phone. I don't give my personal number
So I
out,
put my
obviously,
number
but
everywhere. I want you
yeah.
to call me.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, but you know some of our listeners. I'm just kidding.
you're a man. I'm not. There's a difference.
Uh-huh.
This is the world we live in. So
Forewarn. That's what
Yeah.
you need. Forewarn.
Yep.
Yeah. No, thank you
Yeah.
for
Thanks for
driving
having
over.
me.
I appreciate your desire to do it in person, because it is always better in person.
Yes, I agree. I was
so-
really hyped that you guys were going to be somewhat close, because the audio is so much better than doing
yeah.
in my office and acoustics-wise. So
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's great. Corey, what do you tell the listeners?
Crack a cold one. You deserve it.